eating popsicles. Bitch, I got my camera on. Testing sound. As we always do. I got my camera on. So I just finished walking. Where's my camera? Oh, there's my camera. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me actually test sound. Let me just listen to it a little bit more. Just finished. Okay, cool. Actually sounds pretty good. So I got this Logitech. It's like a 720p camera. I'm running off of my second desk in the house here. This is my sunroom, aka Fern Gully. I just finished walking, so I'm just eating a popsicle. Pretty much eating away all of my losses here, my caloric losses. And it tastes great. I think these are the Outshine popsicles. They're freaking phenomenal. A whole box is like 300 something calories, man. Like, and they're just awesome. They're just awesome popsicles, man. They come in all different types of flavors. Definitely highly recommend them. And I mean, you can eat a shit ton fuckload of them, and it's not gonna be that crazy in terms of like, oh my god, I'm totally off with my whole diet. Just finished watching the Demon Slayer movie, the Demon Slayer anime movie. That was really cool. It's kind of like a longer episode, but it wasn't that crazy. I know I'm talking while I'm eating. I'm kind of bullshitting a little bit here. I kind of had to unfuck my whole fat setup. See if this works. Sweet. So I had to import the VM from a backup and then set it all back up again. And then run all the updates on the VM itself. Because I reformatted, no, I didn't reformat that computer. I just kind of exported it off of there. But getting things set up here. I think I got everything going. We finished our resume page. So yeah, we're back to this. We got in dark mode. Oh yeah. So I kind of want to really get into it and see what we can do. Last thing we're working on is modifying lists. Where this pops up here. Everything should be synced with the Git repo. That's all done. Oh, wow. Somebody already liked the stream. I really do appreciate that. As always, guys, hey, listen, thanks for joining me if you're joining me live. For those that watch the playback, thank you as much as well. Or thank you so much as well. I do these streams for myself, but I also do them for you and your benefit as well. If there's anything that I can help you out with, anything that you'd like me to probably go over, or questions that you'd like me to answer as best as possible, or research you'd like me to do while on the stream, please let me know. I want to try and make it to where this stream is actually beneficial to you all as well. This has actually helped me a lot in terms of getting back into coding and doing a little bit more. I hope I turned off my AC down here so it wouldn't be like in the background. So I hope the sound is okay. I'll be listening to this and probably doing things to improve the setup so I can stream from here as well as my main desk. But getting into the stream, let me get my windows up and running here already. No, that's good. That's good. But yeah, this is my face. I mean, I've shown my face before. It's not a big deal. I think I've shown you guys like Fern Gully before. I mean, well, I did a video on it, but that's my little workout area. I haven't worked out in like a week or so. I've just been really tired this past week with working my 2 jobs. These are my ferns. Oh, here on this side now. Here we go. Got a spider plant over there. I got 2 like banana cactuses over here, or cacti, I don't know. So I got 2 of those over there. I actually changed the lights over on the wall over there because this used to be like the outside, and then they just closed it in with a sunroom, or made a sunroom. But yeah, this is Franco. This is like my chill zen place. I put up some more plants today out on my patio, so that's really nice. I got like a spider plant out there, and then I got some like a stake that you put in the ground and hangs the plants and stuff. You hang the plant on that, so you can hang it on either side. So that's really nice. I got some more gardening to do, but I do stuff week by week. So I've been leveling out my driveway. Yes, I'm buying time. Totally wasting time for you. One thing I need to get on this computer is Postman. I should do that now. I'm listening to the YouTube channel Postman. Circle, CERCLE. Awesome content. There is Disclosure, the group, or the DJ group Disclosure from the UK, and they made like Latch, that Disclosure song Latching Onto You. So that was an awesome song, and they did a great set. And they did it in like this freaking park, bro. It was freaking amazing. Like the visuals, everything was just phenomenal. In fact, let me see if I can like try and your channel. Circle, Disclosure. Like, actually the visuals, I won't play the audio here. But they literally just did this from like a park, bro. Like this park in Croatia. Oh, okay, Postman's getting in the way of the Croatia goodness here. But everything is in their headphones. They're not playing in like loudspeakers, but they're playing by the waterfall and everything. And Circle does these crazy, I just found out about them, but like they do these crazy like scenic shows where, one guy was doing a show from a hot air balloon. It was crazy. Really cool stuff. And then like their visuals, they have drones that fly around. Drones are not allowed in the park, but it was allowed for this event. So that turned out I think that was really cool. Anyways, check them out. Disclosure at Plitvice Lakes National Park in Croatia for Circle. So yeah, definitely check them out. All right, so Postman, let me get, I don't even know, sign in. Jesus. Your default browser should open automatically. If nothing opens, open your browser. Okay. All right, cool. Let me just sign in with my Google stuff. Sign in with Google. Postman. All right, great. So everything should come down and start getting synced to Postman. Or you should start paying for Postman. I don't know how. I guess it'd be my workspace. Yeah, I gotta rename that workspace. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I gotta rename that workspace there. It's like everything else is underneath that. So fat, we got all our stuff here. Let's go ahead and change our environment. APIs. Oh, excuse me. So I should have the settings for this. Yeah, let me do this on the screen because I don't know what it gives up, if anything. Settings of Mali. Move from workspace. Come on. There's no environment. Trying to get the environment. Sorry, it's just setting up a new computer, and I'm kind of doing this, you know, right before the whole stream, of course. And I wanted to start on time, but I always have other things that I have to get done beforehand. Okay. Let's do that for right now. Like jamming in my head to this like disclosure set. That was an awesome set. Like major awesome set. Man, I appreciate you showing up as always, bro. Sorry if I'm a little bit late. I only got 2 screens on this computer. So I got like an ultra wide screen here. And then I have just another older Dell monitor in portrait. So I don't have as many screens as I usually do. I have like 4 screens that I can like have everything open and everything has its own little space. But yeah, so I'll try and get to the comments or keep up with the comments and everything while I'm like clicking around and doing other stuff. I'm trying to figure out Postman and getting this back up and running because I have to change the server environment variable because the server IP address has changed on this computer. Or it's the network adapter has changed on this computer. So, yeah, the VM has changed, and then all the network adapter settings have changed as well. So the IP address is totally off. So what I want to do, oh man, how do I? Damn it! I really should get better at this. Workspace. Add variables. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, it's totally getting that wrong. I think, yeah. So there's initial value and then there's current value. Current initial value. This is the value shared with your team. All right. So server web and server API, server IP address. In this case, the server's IP address is this. All right, so great. So that should be good there, and I should be able to run this and send. And it should return data, hopefully. No. Server IP not found. Okay, so, all right. Here, edit, initial value. Is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. I think it's all right, so save collection. I'm hoping I can do this without having this change. And then save. I hope it didn't sync that or anything. Let's see. Awesome, there we go. All right, so we got our whole setup up and running again, so that's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just take my face off of here. I just kind of wanted to show that I have my camera working. So I don't know if I'll do like face streams or anything like that. I don't really care about hiding my face or not. I mean, you know, I don't really care about people having my number or ways to contact me because my phone's usually on silent anyway. And hopefully nobody does identity theft. My credit's not that great. Actually, it's okay. Could be better. Anyway, so let's go ahead and just get this off here. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I can't really see how this looks, guys. Ah, that looks absolutely shitty. I'm sorry, does it look any better here? Whoa. Damn, that looks bad. Oof. I guess I just have to narrate everything. I feel a ways about that. Quality of like the stream like really sucks. Now I don't know if it's yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can do something about that. That might be the screen resolution. Ugh. See how this looks. That might be a little bit better. Sucks on my side though. Might have to get like a monitor just for streaming or something if I work down here. Okay. Okay. Let's see how this looks. So the quality doesn't look good. And I think that's just because the streaming account I have with StreamYard. It's definitely not an issue with, or shouldn't be an issue with bandwidth down here. It's a bit of a test stream for me, I guess. Let me see here. Wow. Well, I got a job now, so I think I'll just start paying for StreamYard, and then I can get higher quality streams. Damn. Ooh. Okay. All right. So what I'll do. Where do we start? So kind of last where we left off was taking an input here and then making it go to the back end or making sure it goes to the back end. So what we'll do is check our back end to see what it's actually accepting because I forgot. So we'll do API and it should be an add route and then nano that. And I should be going down to lists. Right, so takes in the list, body, console, validates the list. Once the list is validated, then it goes forward from there. So what I'll do is, I want to see what it does in terms of how it all looks. I want my API. I want to see how this if I wanted to post add a list, the list should always be an array. In this case, I don't have it as that. This has like a add a single list. I want to always make it an array though. All right, so we'll do console.log. The second greatest thing since hello world is outputting your output or showing output. So we're going to do request.body. And then once we see our request.body, we're going to see how that all looks once we send it here. So, okay, so boom. All right, so in this case, it only shows there, but let's see what here happens. Oh, this is 0. We will do PM2 logs. So you can see a log of our output. It looks like it's not sending anything to the backend, so okay. All right, so it created an array. So nothing's going to our backend as of yet. We have our lists. We have our name. Takes that. So we have everything prepped of what should be going to the back end. Now we just actually have to get it there and transport it there. Once that's there, then we can actually do our updates to our database. So cd out fat nano server. Oh, what file was I in? Controller API, and then add. And I hope you guys been like using that, or I hope you guys actually checked out that resume site. I hope it actually worked for you all. There's things that I can do to that to make that better, but I don't plan on doing anything to that anytime soon. So if you guys have problems or run into problems with it, let me know, and I can always try and help from there. All right, I just stopped my cam on my side, so I just want to see. Hello. I was trying to help from there. All right, I just stopped my cam. Perfect. All right, cool. So I just wanted to make sure like my mic still worked because it's like all integrated. So we're not sending anything to the back end yet. And so what we're going to do is nano server view public JS. And as you see that, like I usually keep most of these things in a standard format. The resume project wasn't an established project. It wasn't a back-end code project or anything else like that. It was just a project that a bit of a tangent, if you will. All right. So, but most of my other applications that are actually structured it pretty much looks like this, and this is how we move forward with it. So server view public JS, and with that, I should be going into what is this, fat? Yeah, so fat. I always name like my initial JS file, my master JS file, my entry point JS file is always the name of the project. So if it's a resume, it's resume. If it's fat, it's fat. If it's any other program that we've worked on in the past or anything like that, or any structured application, it will always take the name of the application. And I usually prepend every file name, every JavaScript with that. So in this case, fat form, modify list, fat overview, fat user accounts. So all that, like that helps me with in terms of a naming convention and a way of actually naming all these files and saying, oh, okay, this is the custom JS, if you will, instead of just saying custom JS, especially from breaking it up over multiple pages. In this case, yeah, we'll do fat JS. There isn't much in here. Yeah, there isn't. All right. So the one we're going to be going for is modify form, modify list. All right, cool. So if I do this, so to see where we are at, we'll just do, okay, console array of list objects, generate list HTML, swap, close. All right, so we stopped pretty much here because essentially it submits, you submit the list, and once the list is submitted, then we generate the HTML to put it here, and then we go ahead and close the speed alerts. So once you have that, everything looks good here. I think where we were at is where we are ready to put it to the back end. I am so sorry about the quality of this. This is freaking horrible. Yeah, I have to go ahead and buy StreamYard. I mean, I got the money for it now, but I don't know. Sometimes I'll just wait till the last minute. But then I'm looking at the quality of this, and it's just like, whoa. And I'm like wired in, so this should be a lot better connection. Okay. So that's good there. Submit list. And this should be an Axios request, is eventually what it's going to go to. Nice. Sorry, like my mouse is like frozen here. Weird. All right, so we submit, and once that submission happens, this is where we should be. All dev elements, all dev select elements, all div select elements. Dot for each list. Okay, should be passed from the back end. Array, a list, push, cast type. Okay, okay. Submit. All right, that one should be passed from the back end. Okay. And this one, console log, generate list, swap, close. This is cool. This generate list, I want this list to come from the back end. So let's write it up so we can actually push everything to our back end. So we'll do an Axios. How do we send data for Axios? All right, so Axios post. And then we're going to do an add list. All right. Add list. Wait, did we ever get list properly? Huh. Yeah, okay. Let's do this, console.log. And then we're going to do console log the response here. And then as far as the submit, we're going to comment this out. All right, so comment that out. That looks good. And probably shouldn't be running the submit on this. We're just going to be running the get. All right, cool. So now, in terms of the get, the data response data success. We have our payload. Access level, list name longs, access level. Okay. So we have our list. We have a list. We have asset, liability, expense, equity, revenue, right? So we should be getting that from the back end, as we can see here. But you don't have secondary account type or anything else like that. Missing necessary lists. How do we figure out what are the necessary lists in this case? So we're going to be doing account. If response is not success, all right. So we did that to negate the success message. But now that we see that we have the post options, great. All right, so what we want to do is we do want to fire. Yeah, we do want to fire this, do the swall fire here. We might convert this to a function, to be honest, because I want to use it if it's not successful. Also, I want to use it if all the right lists are not there. So yeah, we gotta pass it the sweet alert there. So what do we do though? So we want to call this, we can actually make this into like a variable and then call that variable every time. So let's kind of test that out. In this case, oh, okay. So we're running this as soon as the page loads. We have an anonymous function. It's encased in an anonymous function. So let's go ahead and get rid of all of this here. Gotta shorten up that anonymous function a little bit. We might just take it off of being an anonymous function here. And maybe we'll see. I don't think we really need to, but let's go ahead and write another function, and we'll call this what's it called? List entry prompt. All right, so we'll do the list entry prompt, and with the list entry prompt, we're going to actually do a couple of things here. I haven't figured out what those couple of things are, but we're going to do them. So first, we're going to have a swall fire in there. And okay. Okay. I was just thinking about something that was fired here. So one of the things that's fired is the select2 library. We use that to get those nice tag-based select boxes. So when you actually fire on the page, or when the page fires, then I can actually put in text boxes like this to where it has these kind of like little pills that you can actually get rid of. And it's like it's a dynamic select, if you will. So you can add things to the select window if you wanted to, or to the select input field if you wanted to, and go from there. So we do have to fire that, because if we don't fire it, then it doesn't initialize these and actually do all the styling that's necessary and actually transform it to where it functions properly. So we have to, there's this JS example tags. We have to go ahead and do that. We have to fire that function. And it uses jQuery, so here's what it is on that. not a fan of like using jQuery anymore. I'm like vanilla JS all day, baby. Oh. Annoying me. Trying to like think while I'm doing this as well. Okay, so that's and that's like a good time to say, hey, listen, this is why you use things like this is why you use things like VS Code. Copied a little bit too much there. VS Code because it has like an automatic formatter or auto indent, so that's nice. One thing about refactoring code is just like making sure that it works the same, just maybe with new functionality or a cut down, what's it called? A cut down in terms of cut down the amount of lines and things like that. So since we kind of refactor or move things around, that's not even really refactoring in my book. That's just moving things around and putting things in different places. Making it to where we can actually use this list entry prompt multiple times. We're going to add a little bit of functionality to that in terms of, or conditional functionality to that as well. Just thinking about what happens when data comes in. So if it equals success, then go from here, right? But then we also want to have it to where it loads that information from, response data. So, response data, right? We want to see what it gives us and then put it in the right place. Another thing is, okay, we have this container that shows up here, and then that container has items within it that we need and we're going to parse. So we have our list container, and that list container, we're going to do some stuff with it. And that happens when we do our submit. Our submit actually looks at that list container or the container div ID and then goes from there. And I'm saying this because I'm kind of reminding myself of what I actually did. But you can see where I said submit list and then list container here. All right, so with that being said, let's refresh myself on that. Let's see if this code still works after a refresh. Okay, success. All right, and then, all right, cool. So the success happens and then it lists everything in the div. So if it does do a success, we should generate list HTML and array list of objects. Okay, cool. So we should see that here. So we can take this here. And that's if it's successful, we should just do this. All right, cool. And then that should generate our list. Okay, so it didn't do that. Response.data. Okay. Array list of objects. I don't have array list of objects defined, so I shouldn't see this. I have a feeling that it didn't load my changes. If I look at this, yeah, it didn't load my changes that I put in there, because that would have errored out, because there is no array list of objects that's defined. So let's see how I do that and how I push that into there. Submit list, container div, array list of objects. I'll probably break this out into its own function as well. It should pull this information in, and then, So submit list and has container div ID, and then in that container div ID goes from there. But as you can see here, array list of objects. Yeah, I don't really need to generate that. That's already given to me by the backend. That is in payload. So I should, okay. Array list of objects. I don't need no stinking array list of objects. I already have it. So that is going to be response.data.payload. Payload. Payload array. All right, cool. I actually, I just to let you guys know how country I'm getting. I actually set up I started pickling sausages today. So I set up like 3 jars of pickled sausage. That was one of the things I was doing today. But yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. And I'm supposed to let that sit for like 10 days. So I'm kind of anxious because that's going to take a while to get right. I put some jerk seasoning in there. Like I cooked the vinegar and everything and spiced it up and did all types of stuff to it. So should be really nice. But I got to wait like 10 days to do that. My mom says she's coming this coming Friday. So that's going to be cool. I think her and her friend. So I'm glad for that, because then she has somebody that rides with her. But, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, it's going to be one of those things where I can surprise her on Friday. Yeah, Friday, that'll be like 5 days that'll be in the jar. So I'll break out 1 jar, see how it tastes, and go from there. But yeah, that'll be kind of cool. So I bought some like smoked sausages and stuff like that, peeled the skin off the smoked sausages and all that stuff, and then pickled it with onions, jalapenos, habaneros, Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, some other seasonings and stuff like that, some honey. I actually put that in there. But I got to come up with a formal recipe. So I just started throwing things in a pot, and I started throwing things in a pot. I started throwing things in the pot to season the vinegar and putting it all together. So that'll be kind of cool how that's going to work out. Anyways, enough rambling. So here, let's see how this works. Cool. All right. So we get our list from our backend here. So access levels and all that stuff, and it puts it in there for us. So that's really good. Now we want to generate this, but we don't want to do it if all the lists are not there. So we need to add a conditional so it'll check for the lists. I'd be the last thing I'm doing. I'm kind of testing this out for tonight, and then still want to get a couple other things done. I got to fix my freaking sink. I took that apart today to try to unclog the drain, and then broke the washer nut, or the what is it, the sink nut or whatever, and then the washer that comes with it. But it's like all old stuff, so I have to clean it, and then I have to go ahead and put on the new washer nut, the gasket, and the washer nut. So to get that done too. I'm not going out tonight too. I'm not sure how I started the stream on time tonight. We'll see. I usually stay in, and I have to go back to work tomorrow, but I got a lot of time before that happens. It's like 24 hours before I have to go back to work. Okay, so generate the list. All right, let's look at our payload here. We need 4 lists. Access level list, account primary list. I don't think I've ever had to like cycle through. I mean, I could just do this as a regular. Should I do it as a regular expression? I have to. So essentially, I want to make sure that the 4 main lists are there, right? Go back here. I'm going to make sure the 4 main lists are there. And I have to make sure. All right, so. All right, let's do this. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't think. Yeah, there we go. I need these 4 lists, which are the names, of course, of my my input fields here. So there's account type, secondary, institution, entry type. And also, I should know this from our backend. Maybe I can do this from the backend. Like if it says missing, then prompt for it. Trying to think of how I want to actually do this. So the thought process is that I have to have these 4 lists, and if these 4 lists do not exist, I need something that says, "Hey, you have to enter these 4 lists, or we can't move forward with anything." And I'm not sure if I should do this on the back end or front end. If I do it on the back end, I can have better checks, and I can also make it to where I can have better checks, and I can also make it to where lists, I can make it to where the front end has less code, and the front end just worries about whatever the back end gives it, and the back end should always be right. And then the front end doesn't have to worry about that. It just generates the stuff and fills forms and things like that. Yeah, I kind of like that way of thinking. So let's do that. Server. Okay. Server controller API. We're going to do this in the get as we're getting that list. And I think that endpoint should be the get all endpoint. CB opt fat server view public JS fat form modify list and all that to look for Axios get list all. Okay, so it is all total records. I have my payloads. I have my list. All right, so I want to cycle through that payload when it comes out of the back end. And when it cycles through that payload, I don't want to have to, I want something like, oof. I don't want it to be as a failure per se. No, let's make it a failure. Yeah, let's make it a failure. Yeah, because we're going to do something here based off of that. So by doing the complex stuff in the back end, our front end doesn't have to do much complexity. And it's like, it's not really that crazy in terms of complexity, but it's like, okay, I got to do something in the back end to make the front end work and then do this. It's just like, I don't want to do all that. So let's do failure success and then else list prompt and then response data. And we'll look at our response data. Okay, so that's fine. In our back end, we'll do get and then we'll do look for list. So we'll have the list endpoint. Let's go ahead and make this bigger here. And what I'll do is I have Postman in the other on my other screen here on my own system. It's like you could have okay. So I did show window stacked and it did all that. So kind of what I wanted, but not exactly. Spacing sucks, but the way everything is oriented sucks, but it gets it done. All right, so server list all. I want it to be a failure if it doesn't have all the lists. Now I know we have a validation in the back end, and we have we created a regular expression or a dynamic regular expression based off of a list. So, may not be time for this. So nano server core, and in our core, fat vars. We want to make sure we have all these lists here in fat vars. And then those lists should create all of our regular expressions. So this is a new thing, right? Like we got to add new functionality here. I'll do this and I'll get off for the night, but we got to add new functionality here. And we have fat vars. Excuse me. So we have fat vars and we have a list. Now I'm just wondering here. So define your list here. Fat vars. I don't know if I want to call this fat vars anymore. I want to call it like fat list. I wonder what else is being affected by this. All right, let's go ahead and change that. Fat vars to fat list. Yes, 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 yes. This. All right. See if there's any errors. No. See if we still get everything here. Great. So that looks good. So that change was pretty easy. Let's see if I even should have made that change. So I have I want a list, or I want a validation for a list here. I want it to be where anything in fat list, the fat list variable, anything that's in there should have its own regular expression. Yeah. How can we do that? So convert your list to regular expression. So I could do this again. So validation object. But instead of like a for key and fat list, I'll just be doing just the keys. So whereas this function actually does the items within the keys, I'm just going to do just the keys because that's all I want is the keys. I can also actually just do it within this function too, to where it just like looks at the keys and says, okay, hey, these keys, go ahead and put them in. Yeah, let's see if we can do that. Go ahead and put them in like make a whole nother item as well. That is a validation object. So we want to validation object for I and keys, validation object, and we want to we call it lists. Let's see what this outputs. Oh, excuse me. All right, so that happened really fast, but it did happen. So this is what it creates. Now, what I wanted to do is actually create all those lists. I wanted to create a list of those lists, or an array of those lists. All right, cool. We'll keep that. And let array of lists equals an empty array. And then we'll do for key in fat list result. We'll do array of lists. All right, and then dot push array of lists, and oof. I hope I don't add another list to this. Like if there's another list that I gotta validate and stuff and it's not in there, oh my god, that's gonna be freaking pain. I'm probably gonna have to do that. Damn it. But I want to make it to where this is dynamic and I don't have to do this over and over again or anything like that. So we'll just have to account for that. So array push, and we will do key. All right. So if you do a push on an array, it'll just add it to that array. Okay, cool. So array of lists, with that array of lists being in there, So once it's pushed, I want to add that to the validation object. So in terms of scoping, it's here. And then validation object, I don't know what I want to call this. And that should equal array of lists. But I don't know what I want to call it. I'll just call it fat list. That won't be confusing later on. Okay, cool. So it happens. Yeah, cool. So primary list, access list. So we have the 5 lists, and that's cool. So we didn't have to like write a whole new function or anything like that. So we do want to go on our back end, or we want to go on our front end actually, and I want to see how this looks. Okay. So I got 4. Oh, see, that's the thing. I got like 4 different things here instead of 5. Oof. I mean, that's kind of okay, but I have to like filter for that. That's fine. I'll filter on the back end because I won't filter access levels. Or I won't put in access levels because that's the 5th list. I don't need that. Now that it's not always the prettiest thing, and this is where it's like, okay, maybe it's better to write a separate function instead of adding functionality to this one. What I'll do is access level list. What I can do is add a bit of a guard statement here. So if key is not equal to, boom, there we go. We could probably do like a match. It would probably be better because with match, I can put in a regular expression. So dot match. And then with a regular expression, it'll make it easier to add to it later on. And again, like that's just, thinking forward, right? Or thinking ahead a little bit. And you get to that point once you start to like see these things more and more. So in this case, I won't do key, and I'll just do the negation here. And then I'll do match. And then with it being a match, I go forward here. And then the word doesn't have to be encased in anything. I'm looking at the developer network for not Node.js, for JavaScript. Looking at this article here for this help page. So with that being there, all right, cool. And then if I wanted to add something else, I could. So if key does not match because we did the negation at the beginning, then you can go ahead and push this. Great. And then do I have to do a G? We'll do a G. G for global. So I don't think we need to do a G though, but we'll see. Nope, we got an issue here. Array of lists. Unexpected identifier. That's because I need another parentheses. There we go. All right, cool. So that's good there. Now I should get, oh, I should have seen it. Yeah, I only have 4 lists now. Great. So that gets rid of that, adds that functionality, and also makes it a little bit easier to maintain, unless that gets like really, out of control in terms of the things that you have to negate if you add more things to that list. But it does make it a little bit easier to deal with. And another thing you can actually do is, instead of like where it says like account type, primary list, you can add, like front end or some BS or what have you, right? But the thing is, you're going to have to account for that in your other functions, because I have a function that says the word list gets replaced with validation, so I have to figure out, I got to account for that too. All right, but we have it to where this takes that out. Remove the access level list and others if needed in the future. All right, so that's cool. So that adds that functionality. So essentially we just saved ourselves this many lines of code by just adding one new variable, another line here. Yeah, so 3 new lines, 4 if you include the comment. So 3 new lines of actual code, 4 lines total, and we've added a new functionality to this create validation regular expression. Now with this create validation regular expression, I can actually go ahead and use that on the back end here. So and I want to do fat lists. All right, so these are the lists that I have, and I want to cycle through all of those. And I want to cycle through what I have in terms of on my back end here. So so I'll do nano server controller and API. And then in terms of what do I need to do here? API, and then I need to add, no, I need to get. I got to do a get, so I'll do everything in my get endpoints. So in my list endpoint, I want to be able to take this and get list response. So list endpoints, I want to get this list, get list response, list name. All right, cool. So if I get all, I want it to return a failure. Check if entries exist. It's a get. Yeah, okay, this is a get. All right, cool. So let's count documents. Using our model. So if not get results, call back. If get results length, return callback status failure. So, and then equals 0 if it returns nothing. So we're going to add another guard here. I don't know how we're going to cycle through all of those entries though. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and count that. Console log this and get the list results. All right, and right, cool. So we're going to get the list results. So when I do this send to the back end, I'll see it here, right? So now that I see this, now I need to iterate through that and say, okay, do you have, I need to do a for loop, and I don't do a for each. Well, I could do a for each, but I like doing for loops a lot better because they work how I'm expecting them to work with little. I just gotta get better at for eaches, but a for loop will work here. So if I look at this, it is an array because it's in case with our square brackets here. So, all right, cool. So I'm gonna do get list result. So check if required. Check if all required lists exist. Yeah. So if I have all the required lists, if they exist, yeah, these would be considered my required lists. And what I want to do is to get out our front end, nano server core JS. So I should be bringing in my core JS already. So let's make sure it's there. Yep. So by bringing in my core JS, I have access to this validation object here, these validation objects. So core regex. Core regexes. Wait, core dot create validation. Oh wow. Okay. I never tested my regular expressions here. So if I do console.log, like, is it creating a regular expression for this? Let us see. Core regex, and that should be a function. Yeah, it does. Fat list. Now, do we want to call this fat list? Let's give it a better name. Required list. Why did I just do that? Oh man. Preemptive logs, okay. And then yeah. Very cool. So fat required list. All right, great. So we got that there. So that should be core. Before I forget, it's core dot reg x's dot fat required lists. Yeah. And I should be able to console log that out there. Yeah, it won't show that yet until I do. Actually, let's do this right here. All right, let's see. If I send undefined core.fat required list. Core regexes. Yeah, okay, so let core regexes. I mean, I could just do that, but I want to call this fat required list. And then same difference. Let's go ahead and put that there. Because that core regexes is actually a function. So since it's a function, I have to call it like it's a function. And then I should be able to do that there. And then I can do this. This is probably where I could actually, Richard Dixon would come in and be like, yo, use the spread operator or something like that. So that'd probably be a good spot to use it, actually. All right, cool. No syntax errors there. Sweet. There we go. So we have our list, right? So now we have our list. Now we can start comparing it or using it for comparisons. So we get our get list results. Don't need that. We can uncomment this. Keep it like that. Okay, so check if all required lists exist. We're going to have to save that. Do this. Send. So this is how everything looks. I'm just going to copy this to a notepad here. Yeah, great. There we go. Let's cut that down to size. So now I should be able to iterate through this, do this result. So 4. And then we're going to do also 4. We're going to do let I equals 0. And I know I do all these spaces and it's not necessary, but I just like to write it like that. So we're going to do the get list result dot length. All right, and then I ++ to make sure it increments. So we have all our setup done for our for loop, and now we're going to loop through it and do get list result at I. And once you get the list result at I, we want the list name. So list name and dot match. So if list name dot match all right, and then we're going to put in our required list here. Oof, our required list is an array. So, how can we do it if it looks in an array? I mean, we can create our required list. We can take our required list and turn that into a regular expression. But that takes time, as you can see. I don't know if I want to put all that here. Because to create here, I have to do that validation regex key. Oh no, I have to do this. In terms of that. Sure, there's a higher order function for that. So fat list key, that length. All right, and that's how I make a regular expression. So now I don't want to see that. I want to see if this item is in an array. Yeah, all right. I know there's something for that. Check if string in array. Yeah, I know there's something for that. How to find if an array contains a specific string. Because this will make it a lot easier than you really don't need jQuery for this. It looks like index of. Check if a string contains any element of an array. No, check if put a string is in the array. Is in the array in JavaScript. Okay. So looking at this article here. Okay, so I can't do anything there. Array, check existence. Array includes user input. Oh, okay, so includes. Oh, wow. You could just use includes with that. Okay, cool. So I'll go ahead and post that in the chat here for those that want to look that up later. But we can do and includes. So that's really cool. So, but we have to change the order of all that stuff. Okay, where am I going? We have to do array includes get list result, list name. We're taking the user input here. Oh. Okay, so this is an array. So the fat required list that includes dot or this list name. Get rid of all this stuff here. Console.log. Yes. Okay. Move. Right. So this loops through our results, and we check if those results are included in this list here. Or if we check if those results are included within the fat required list array. And what we want to do just to add a little bit to this is add I. So we can see where that is actually happening or where it's not actually happening too. So we'll go ahead and send a request to the backend and not going to get what I wanted. Did I save this? Yes, I did. Console list this here. Don't need that list there. If list name is included in the array, now our array, let's make sure we have the right stuff for our array here. Wait, I did. All right, so we have our array account type primary list. Yeah, wow. Oh, our array actually has the word list in it, so we want to remove that. Okay. So we actually want to take, when we add it into here, we want to take out the word list. So if it's array.push t.replace replace list with nothing, right? Cool. All right, so account type primary, secondary, great. So now if I run this on my back end, right, so I only have one thing that's actually included. Great. Simple fix, right? All right, so now we see that only one list is actually showing there. So if that's the case, I want it to say, okay, if it's running there, or if that's the problem, then I'm just gonna expand this so we don't go over our little line limit that I've talked about. Let's just go ahead and return callback status, and hopefully there's nothing else. But we do want to have our payload have something in it. So what's our successful payload look like? Get list result. Boom. So we want it to look like our successful payload, but it be a failure. And we'll say missing required lists. Timestamp, date, and then we have our payload. Payload should already be an array. And total records. And we'll add our total records here too. So we'll add that. And okay, so and we want to add this here. And then what we also want to do is our total records. Ooh, do we want to do our total records? Do we really want to do our total records? I mean, list count documents. I don't even like the way that actually comes out anyway, but I don't think we're using our total documents or our total list, but we know that some things are actually being passed here. Let required list for if. I hope this doesn't go out of order though. Might have to do some type of a wait here or something. That's what I'm thinking. Because now we're working in backend JavaScript and Node.js. And with this asynchronous nature, will it run this for loop before it runs any of this? And the answer should be no. I think we can await. Can we await a for loop? Node.js await for loop. Just looking at a Stack Overflow article here. I don't want it in a loop. I want to await a loop. A loop. A loop. A loop. It sounds like a weird language. Await in a for loop. What I really wanted to do is, it's cool. Just notice my TV does something. There's like a screensaver on it, which is cool. I just never see it because I never have it on long enough. So core regex is fat required list for if I do a return out of a for loop, it should stop. I could just run this code and see what happens. But what I'm probably going to get is that I'm sending things twice. Let's get rid of this line. It's no longer necessary. Just getting tired of being warned about it. Or I'm tired of the output, I should say. So on my other screen, I'm going to run Postman here. And the thing is, I don't want, both screens here. I don't want the error that I'm expecting is where it'll say can't send a response after a response is already sent. Oh, okay. Does it work like that all the time? All right, so it works. This is like the for loops are just not. It's like they don't fuck with for loops. I don't know. I have to figure that out because it's like kind of bothering me. Like I'm expecting it to work a certain way, and I'm like, why is a for loop okay, and a for each isn't? I had some problem where I was racking my brain about this, and I was like wondering why the hell is this loop not working properly, or why is this for each not working properly, and then a for loop worked and got everything working for me. Oh shoot, let me charge my phone here. So I'm just thinking, guys. It seems to work. Seems to be fine. Runs the for loop, then runs everything else. You don't have to worry about the validation. Required list. Probably should write out the required list. To required list. I think you could just like output the array. But first, you gotta make this a template literal. A template literally. I think we could just do this here and then put it in there, and then it should just output as. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Content primary, secondary. Yeah. So that's a good response message. That's a good failure. It says, hey, listen, you're missing required lists. And then any better than that would be that we take out the we only include the lists in this message here. We only include the lists that actually are missing. And that would be a lot better than, you know, have, like, for instance, if there's like 100 lists in there or it grows to something like that, right? It's like, okay, well, excuse me, it's like, oh, we're not sifting through all of this, you know, like you're saying that you're missing these 4 lists. Which of those 4 lists am I missing? So that'd be a better way of doing that. And the way this works, though, it doesn't go through all of these. I would have to do a for loop first and have it remove that from the required list. Let's go ahead and try that so we can refine that a little bit, just so we can just like make this message a little bit nicer, a little bit user friendly. It's like, all right, cool. What list am I missing? Although the front end should say that, which actually, I don't want to do that. Just thinking here. So for this right here, I still have to loop through it at the end. So if I'm doing this here, all right. So yeah, if I'm doing return here, this return would stop everything. This stops the for loop. It's pretty much like saying either a break command. It will not continue unless you do continue. It should break it. So let's iterate through this list. Yeah, let's iterate through this list. And then I want to know what lists are missing. I don't want to just be saying, hey, list. I don't want to just say missing required lists, right? And then you give me all 4 lists. And then I might have like 4, 5, 6 different lists in here. I want to know what lists are missing. How do I figure that out? I know it's going to say, I know we're going to have to use array.pop. So we're going to pop that off the list, right? So for let, you know, and then if still use this. Oh, wow. This is messed up anyway. This should be a negated. Should be negated. Like it doesn't equal or not equal, as opposed to a positive, because that if statement will fire off a failure if the list exists. Which is why it said, okay, let's test something here. And then and then we're gonna do yes. And we're gonna do yes. So if it's not It's not included. Huh. All right, so we're going to do... Yeah, how can I find out what is actually in there? Wow, okay. Interesting problem, interesting problem. Let us figure it out. If I have... I want to actually output the item in... I want to output the item that actually shows... So that includes... I want to put the item that actually is included. So let me look up dot includes and see if it's like, okay, if it'll just, no, include just gives you true or false. Okay. If I want to do includes, okay, from index, the position in the array in which to begin searching for search element. Okay. Length dot plus from negative values or from index, return values. Includes 3, false 100. I would have to write it a different way for it to also, where is that? Why did it just go all the way back over there? That's where I want it, but why did it do it by itself? Okay. The fat required list. I would like to get the index of where that is. I guess I can do index of. Let's see what that means. Index of method returns the first index at which a given element can be found in the array, or -1 if it's not present. Oh, yeah. Oh, I should already have it. I should already have. So I'm trying to figure out the list name and what I have to pop off of this thing. Yeah, I can use the index of to do this. So, all right, cool. Let me explain. I can say yes, right? And then say I, right? And it just tells me the placeholder of it. So if I go ahead, it'll say yes, 0, yes, 0, yes, 0, right? But yes, 0 in this case should be this item here for access level list. Right. So, and then, you know, it stops, it's console logs, and that's it. And it'll produce a success. Yeah, it'll produce a success in that because there's nothing that's stopping it. I can just do console log, and I could probably do a return after that, and then that should stop it and not go any further. So in this case, what I want to do is, if that's the case, all right, so if that's the case, I want it to do no, if you find it, if you find your item, right? If you find that item in the list, I want you to pop that off of the fat required list, right? So fat required list, and I will do fat required list. It should iterate through it every time. I don't know if I have to define a new variable that holds that list, but I don't think I want to do that. We'll see. Let's look at this. So fat required list. Fat required list dot. Let me see if I can do an array.pop just based. I want to try and see if I can do array.pop. Pop. I'm just looking up how pop works. I want to see if I can pop just based off of the name. Plants.pop, expected output tomato. Console log plants. Pop method removes the last element from the array and returns that element. This method changes the length of the array. Oh, okay, it takes the last element off the array. So if I wanted to remove an entry out of a, okay. So let's do this. I can do index of, right? And then I wonder if I can do a map on this. Okay, we'll get to that later. So I want to do index of this item here, right? And then let index equal, call that target index. I don't think that's a special word or anything, but we'll just call it target index. Console.log. All right, cool. So target index, and great. No errors. And I want to get the index of the item. So 0, right? So 0. I don't know if that would be 0. Oh, okay. So account type primary. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's fine because that is the first item in the array. All right, so remove. All right, so array, JS array, remove element. Okay. Pop shift removes from the beginning, removes from a specific array index. Okay, so I use the splice. Oh, and it's good to know these things here as well. I don't remember them myself, I'm not gonna lie, but there are different methods and techniques you can use to remove elements from JavaScript arrays. Pop removes from the end of an array. Shift removes from the beginning of an array. Splice removes from a specific array index. Filter allows you to programmatically remove elements from an array. So filter would probably be good. That would be nice. So let's look at filter as well. Because with filter, then I could possibly get more things done in less time. Let's just do it simple, and we'll refactor later if necessary. So in fact, I'll get this to you guys as well. So that'll be in the chat, this link here. All right, cool. So I'm going to do target index. I'm going to do a required list, and this will modify that required list. I'm going to do a splice, and then I'll splice at target index. And then after that, once that's done, I should see the list, the required list. Okay, so oh wow. Fat required list. So it looks like it's doing this every single time. I don't even know if it's worth it to do all this, but we'll see. So fat required list, it'll increment. I'm thinking that it's looping through this and it keeps on, it'll empty out the entire array. that just sucks. Let's see what, I want to see what this actually equals. All right, cool. Account level list, account type primary. Right, so account type primary. If console.log let's see if it we don't have to like go back and forth here. That does count list type primary. All right, cool. So I know my list exists. Target index. Splice. My list is still intact. Oh, we got to do afterward as well. So we'll just do a 2 here, 1. You could do that with console log. It doesn't do concatenation and doesn't make it like a whole string. It just outputs 2 elements or 2 items. So 1 and then 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are the same, right? Cool. Let's go ahead and add this. Splice at the target index. Thing to me though is like yeah, see, by the time it gets to 2, it erases everything in here. Now, I'll do this target index. I'm wondering why target index always equals 0 though. Index of get release. Get this result. Yeah, maybe I'm just not understanding how this works. Maybe I'm not understanding how index of works. That is. Let's change the order of our output here, our console logs. All right, so with the, oh wow, I got 4 likes on the video. Thanks a lot, guys. Lionel, what's up, brother? Sorry if I'm just seeing late on seeing your comment there, or your comment in the chat there. Appreciate you showing up, brother, even if it's for a second. All right, so okay, cool. All right, so let's see what this output looks like here. So 1, 2, is a count type primary and splice. All right, so let me see. Maybe splice is not working how I expected it to. Splice removes from a specific array index. Okay, so all right, so the splice method can be used to add or remove elements from an array. The first argument specifies the location at which to begin adding or removing elements. The second argument specifies the number of elements to remove. The third subsequent arguments are optional. They specify elements to be added to the array. How do we use splice method to remove two elements starting from the position 0 based on index, or from position 3, 0 base index. Okay, so that would be number 4. Oh, okay, so that's what I was doing. I have to I guess I have to add removing array items by value using splice. Items by value. Okay. Oh, that's kind of what I was doing here, but I'm using index of to achieve this. Sorry, that just caught my eye. I had to read that. All right, so here we use the splice method to remove two elements. An array containing the removed element is returned the splice method. You can see the removed contains 3, 4, and the original array contains the remaining values. The splice method can also be used to remove a range of elements from an array. So starting index or starting at index position 0, the link to this article is in the chat for anybody that wants to see it. So starting at index 0, remove two elements, bar and baz, and retains foo and quax. So 0 to, so I will remove two elements. I don't want to do that, so I should only do 1. So by me putting in just 0, it removes everything, it looks like. All right, so target index, splice, and then I just want to remove 1. It's beginning at target index. I'm surprised it's 0 though. Well, letting out fireworks, not even July 4th yet. All right, cool. Hey, that's cool. So count secondary, institution, entry type. Great. So it only removes that one item from the array. Great. So I just wasn't using splice properly. But you can see how when we don't know it, then we go through, we step through it to see okay, where are things happening? Where are we having failures? So in this case, I'll loop through it, and then all this does for me is, I'd have another for loop that would look through this and be like, okay, well, this isn't there, this isn't there, this isn't there. Ugh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it makes your output look a little bit nicer, but instead of just saying missing missing an array, tells you, or missing a certain list, it tells you what lists are actually missing. So if you have that one list, then you need to get the other 3 lists. So check if all required lists. What's it called? We'll say return only the lists that are missing. kind of know this cycles through everything because we had it. We have 2 lists in our backend, but only one of those lists are the required lists. So we kind of know that works. So then for, all right, cool. And then we'll do for, yeah, we'll have to do another for loop to get through this. Oh, the pain, the agony of copying and pasting. So cool. So now times 11:31. Guess I ended up doing a 2-hour stream anyway. All right, so if it's not included, and then we include the lists that are, all right. Wait, do we even have to do all this? Oh, wow. Wow. I don't even know. We can do it on the last. I don't think I need 2 for loops for this. It's essentially doing the same thing. If includes get name, if it doesn't, turn that. Yeah, I don't think I need this secondary for loop here. And I'll kind of show you why, because what I could do is, so if length -1 equals I, then go ahead and return this callback. Return cool. So essentially, if it's in the last item in the array, this has been processed here, then go ahead and return it there. If there's any other problems after that, we'll figure it out later. All right, cool. So this should give me a better output in terms of like what's included and not. Great, cool. Account type secondary, institution, and entry type. All right. Yeah, so that's good. Oh. We can account for this with an if statement, like, missing, like if it says, like if message says missing, and then go from there. Like missing required list, and then go from there. Okay, cool. I think that's good. I think that's good right there. So now that we have this required list, then we can go from there. All right, so I'll be doing some work on this to move it forward. I haven't worked on it in weeks. You guys can kind of see me struggling to remember what I did in some of the code at first. And then now we're adding this feature. But we're kind of chipping away at this really slowly. So I'm going to have to do things to try and accelerate it. And that just requires me doing more work outside of the stream, of course, to get this stuff done. And that just turns some of the streams into like explanation streams and stuff like that. But which is good for those that are watching so they can see some of the cool stuff. And I always talk about the cool stuff that I do, which is like, cool to me and all that stuff. So, all right, I think that's good for now. We can, at this point, we can write an if statement for our front end that looks at the message and says, if this, and then maybe even have, missing. We can have it like, here we go. We can probably do this. Missing list. Yeah, so we could probably do an if statement based off of the missing list. And we'll do that required list. Missing list. Okay, great. So yeah, we can add that. That'll be a nice addition. That's a nice addition, but it takes us away from, what I usually like to have. I don't want to mess with the payload here because I want the payload to have the list that we actually do have in it. Maybe removing some part, something in there. Maybe removing the list that we don't need. This list here. But yeah, get list result. And we might want to remove that one and just only include the one that we actually need, the required list in this case. That'd be something I can do later. So, all right, cool. So that's good. Send the request, bad gateway. All right, cool. So then I have my missing list here. So with that being said, then on my front end, I can actually do all the work to get rid of the missing list as well. And the front end can handle all that. We'll see. But yeah, that's it for tonight for the stream. Thanks for those that are watching the playback and those that watch it live. I really do appreciate you guys showing and giving eyeballs. I know this is not always the fun thing to do, but it is a thing that makes us money. And we could do fun things with money, like buy ATVs or buy more speakers for your sound system, because I'm going to do that. As always, guys, do your research. Check out some of these concepts that I talk about. Check out some of the things that I do. And also correct me if I'm wrong in something. Let me know if there's a better way of doing something in terms of what you've seen here. I know the video's blurry. I want to say it's usually better than this, but I'll have to check the back end or the stream after the fact. I am making a little bit more money now, so now I can actually go ahead and budget for adding StreamYard to my monthly budget. And I mean, I did mainly because I needed every penny I got. I still need every penny I got, but I can, invest a little bit into the stream and invest into this whole this endeavor that I'm going on. As always, guys, I appreciate you greatly, and please be safe. And if you're not taking what I say with a grain of salt, you're low in sodium. Please trust me, but always verify some of the things that I say and check me in the comment sections. Peace.